It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
Here we are, weekly trailer number 3. This one is definitely not Kuma. Oh my, how wrong we all have been. They threw a major curveball at us and gave us Sergei Dragunov. We thought we predicted the order. The developers threw us the biggest curveball imaginable. We'll focus more on that later in another video, which characters could be next and whatnot. We'll do that later, but in this video, we gotta talk about the White Angel of Death, Sergei Dragunov. In Tekken 8, they call him the White Reaper, like the Grim Reaper. That's fire. He starts off doing his iconic crawl into the battle, stands up, and then he takes his fighting stance. So one thing that we gotta note about Dragunov, first off, RIP to the original voice actor of Sergei Dragunov. One of the biggest things we were wondering about Dragunov is, will they get a new voice actor? And just listening to this hum, it does sound a little bit different from the original Dragunov. But kind of not though. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell if this is a new person or if this is just fresh lines and this is why the character sounds different. Hopefully the developers could give us some clarity on that later. But regardless, the extension of this, we normally see Dragunov humming and like that's how he ends the battle, wins the battle. But I like here how he notices the camera and he like pushed the camera off of him. That aspect of Tekken 8 is so fire. Like there's so many more characters who's like paying attention to the camera and like who's noticing the camera and they're just like, nope, get that out of here, right? So let's talk about the gameplay, bro. What's really important. You know, Dragunov is a character who I like a lot, right? Yoshimitsu number 1, Dragunov number 2. That's kind of the order of things. So this is a character who I'm very interested in. Of course, he starts off with a running 2. That's the only right way to start off a Dragunov trailer. I thought his coat was his leg. His coat, okay, so this is going to be a problem right here. As Dragunov is twisting and turning, you got to pay attention to that coat and be able to distinguish that from his leg, because I thought he did a high and then fake out into a low, and it also hit Raven as he was trying to sidestep left. And that's major stun too. You can't follow it up with a jab string though. So you do get plus frames, but you don't get anything guaranteed. Oh, that's fire. So they use something interesting here with the power crush. Dragunov has this 1-2 string and then he goes into a power crush grab afterwards. That's going to make his grappling skills so much stronger. You know, in the past games, you kind of had to, I don't want to say you had to like make your opponent scared, but you kind of had to make them scared and afraid to use this because they could just interrupt you. But this time around, if they do so, you'll probably even get like a counter hit or something like that, right? I think that's what the lightning means, right? But that's interesting. Just already, that's like, I'm thinking that's a buff, major buff. So another iconic move of Dragunov, you have down forward 2. I'm noticing that it's just moving a little bit to the left a little bit, just naturally. When he does that, he goes to the left a little bit. So I guess that's a plus sign. You have some little bit of evasion. I don't think it's really going to matter. Maybe it will for moves that is super linear. I know Yoshimitsu has some stuff like that. So this will matter a little bit. But forces crouch. Oh, okay, what is that? Wow, that's some new stuff. So he did while standing 2-4, and then it looked like he goes into a stance right there. It looked like he goes into a stance and then he immediately does the slide. Now, it's hard to tell for sure if this is a stance or not, or if the person is just really inputting those buttons fast. But regardless, that is a totally new mix up there. You know, the down 2 for Dragunov is very important. So to see that he has some new mix up options out of it, I'm not surprised. You could probably even just cancel that one, that while standing 2 whatever, you could just cancel that and fake the new, because the knee's probably going to be punishable, right? So you could probably just hit confirm it and see if you really want to commit to the idea. The slide, definitely that's going to be like something that you don't see people do, because that's if it's blocked, it's going to be punishable. So maybe there will be a safer option that more people decide to do than the slide, but you know, the trailer got to be flashy. Something that I will say, in this trailer, Dragunov is getting a lot of buffs, and it's making me think about how he was on launch with Tekken 7. He was really powerful. JDCR went on like a 1.5 year rampage with Dragunov. They nerfed the character into the dirt and Dragunov never recovered. I wonder if the same thing will happen where Dragunov will be super busted on, or not even busted, just top tier on launch, and then they will nerf him once the DLC show up, and then Dragunov will be a fraction of what he used to be. Just looking at all the buffs that they're giving him, that could be the trajectory that we're seeing played out. Regardless, you have Raven do a slide. Dragunov punish that, so that move is extremely punishable because this move from Dragunov is pretty slow. Oh, okay, so that's new as well. Basically, the input is the same, but they just changed the animation to fit the new screw mechanic of Tekken 8. So after the screw, Dragunov goes in. This is something that I was highlighting in the Steve Fox trailer. The double screws that you have going on. They did the first screw here, and he runs in with this like weird mid kick that looked like it has some tracking on it. And then he screws Raven again there, right? I'm just noticing that they're doing double screws. I haven't really been paying attention to until the Steve Fox trailer. That's what really caught my attention to it. And here they're showing us it again. So definitely multiple characters will be able to do this. Now, from that second screw, he does his normal string, high kick. We can't see how far that pushes Raven, but in Tekken 7, this is used to get a lot of wall travel. And to see it being used the same way as a combo ender, this will be good for wall travel, right? So here he goes into Dragunov's stance. This is very temporary, but you got to see it. So he basically quickly, that right there, he quickly like shuffles down into like, I don't even know what the stance is called, but it's like a temporary stance that Dragunov is in where he gets options to some attacks. Me, I like to use this as a bait. Like I'll fake the stance and then hit someone with his shoulder, especially at the wall. You can wall splat them and do dangerous things like that. But here Dragunov does something different. Wow. Talk about the grab and being stronger now. From hitting the wall, he immediately does this grab, which is a fire grab, but it resplats, and then he ends the combo. So of course players are immediately going to see how far can they push it. If they notice this grab will naturally resplat, then you basically are going to try to maximize how many hits you can get off before this. Maybe a jab, maybe back 3-4. You're going to just try to figure out how much can you put in here, and then grab them, and then do the ender. So that is something that's basically keep an eye out for that. That's definitely going to be a part of Dragunov's normal combo. Here it is. This is absolutely amazing. We get a look at one of the brand new stages, Arena Underground. I thought the first time we would see this stage was either Yoshimitsu or Dragunov, because these are the two characters who was featured on this stage, but Dragunov is the first character who has this stage. It's absolutely amazing. Now, this character interaction is something that I was not expecting to see at all. Yes, Dragunov has a huge rivalry with Raven, and it also carried over to Master Raven in Tekken 7, but to see it carry over to Sanchez was, I don't know how I didn't see that coming, but I feel like over the past few games, Dragunov has been, did dirty. There's a lot of characters you could put in that category. But just seeing how serious Sanchez is taking him in this situation, long time no see, White Angel of Death, it just makes Dragunov seems that much more of a threat, right? And then here's the thing too. These two characters met each other. They know each other. It's personal. This isn't just something that like Victor hears about, like, oh, Dragunov did this to Raven and then Master Raven. Like they have some personal beef between them, and it makes Dragunov just seems that much more like of a threat. There's one of him and there's like 3 of them now, right? And all of them have some kind of personal vendetta against Dragunov personally. So that's just pretty cool to see how they're trying to build upon the lore that's already established. We'll talk about Dragunov's story and speculate on where this can go later. Let's continue with the trailer. This is not what I was expecting. Now we kind of got to pay attention to what Sanchez is doing as well, because this is a brand new character, and even though we've seen this trailer, we have not seen everything he's capable of. So it's going to be just as important to pay attention to what he's doing as it is Dragunov. So first off, he starts off with this Power Crush High. This is basically what every character has, and I'm not sure if I like it or not. Basically, I think the input is forward R1, and then every character does like a Power Crush High. I get they want to make the characters a lot more the same, simplify the game, make it more easier. But I just don't know how I feel about that. Every character having a universal power crush high. I don't know. I kind of don't like it. Regardless, Dragunov goes under it and he does his legendary snake edge low counter hit. It immediately screws this time around. I think in Tekken 7 on counter hit it does a combo. In Tekken 7 it does the crunch and then you get the grab. This one here it launches. So I don't know if that's a buff or a nerf, but that's definitely something different. So Dragunov does a little sidestep there. I'm not sure why he does that sidestep, if the developers just wanted to show off a little bit movement, but regardless, they sidestep, power crush knee to pick Sanchez back up off the ground. So just that part right there is a very normal Dragunov combo. Everything that we've seen there is pretty much what Dragunov games has been doing since the start, right? So there's nothing new there. But then you get to the part where you hit the wall and then Sanchez explodes. So from that, Dragunov does forward, and lights you up with his kick. Here, Sanchez does a super high knee. This is definitely Noctis, bro. Noctis has, I was just playing Noctis like in the last stream. He has up forward, 3+4 or whatever, and you can basically just mash Y after. Even though Sanchez only does one knee, I don't know, this is basically Noctis's move, even though he's only using one knee. So even though it's like kind of plus frames, it's like a big pushback, he still gets punished on landing. Wow, I don't like this. So back 3-4. Okay, I don't like this. There's some moves that now activate heat, and I feel like that's going to completely change the way that the moves is used. Wait, oh, so this is his heat smash or whatever. So he does a wild running 2, and then with the other hand he does the same thing, and then he basically just starts like, it's heat effects everywhere at that point. So this is definitely his heat engager that they're showing off. Once again, another one of Dragunov's signature attacks. This double leg kick breaks the floor in a combo, but here just standing, it forces crouch and it gives a big mix-up potential. Talking about Dragunov being top tier at the start of the game and then maybe being nerfed later on. That plus frames force crouch is definitely something I can see them removing as time goes on. That's a counter hit grab. Okay, so no power crush this time around, and also that is a crouching grab. So if you stay crouched, you will get hit, but if you stand up, you won't get hit. Okay. Wow, that activates heat, huh? That's interesting. That grab activates heat, but it's not a like heat engager or whatever. It simply just puts you in heat, and it looks like it gives you some kind of mix-up. I haven't seen that before. I haven't seen that where a move activate heat, but it doesn't do that running animation afterwards. So Dragunov does some new low. That's not the down forward 2. Maybe this is the heat version of it, because he definitely hits low. He definitely swiping with the leg. So I guess this is like a heat version of Dragunov's down 2. It looks like it's faster. It looks like it's more dangerous, but Dragunov is much higher off the ground, so it loses a lot of evasion. Oh, so that's that wild standing 2 or whatever we were talking about earlier. So this is actually a screw. It's not even a screw. Is that a screw? See, look at this. That's so much hang time, but it's not your traditional screw animation. See, that's the screw animation. That's interesting, bro. They said they wanted to nerf the wall travel, but then they have a lot of these double screw situations. And I mean, it looks dope in terms of combos, don't get me wrong. His rage art was pretty simple. He really didn't do anything like crazy there, but you know, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. Not every rage art can be a banger. This part here definitely gives Negan Smith vibes, where you could barely see, the character looks up. The only difference is Dragunov is just saying like, oh, Lee Smokes, look at that, right? That's the only thing that's really different about this. Here at the end, you once again have a camera, and then Dragunov is looking square into the camera. At the start of the match, he was moving it out the way. Now he's locking eyes with the camera. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.